Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. I hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we have the privilege of speaking with leading agencies, technology partners, and consultants in customer channel and brand loyalty about the technology trends and best practices that impact a brand's ability to drive unique experiences, enhance engagement, but most importantly, impact customer loyalty in a positive manner. Loyalty Live allows for a deeper insight into the state of customer loyalty because we surface challenges that brands are seeing in our day-to-day existence. And by talking with these leading consultants, technology providers, and agencies, we get a very detailed and real-world example of how to address them. So today we have the pleasure of speaking with Ken Kaufmann, who's the Managing Director of North America, and Zyed Jamoussi, who's the co-founder and president of Untie Knots. How are you today?
Hello, nice to have you.
Hi. First off, we'd love to start these on a more personal note. We'd like to get to know the people we're speaking with a little bit more about their history, their background. So we'll start with you, Zyed. Can you tell us a little about yourself, your current role with Untie Knots, and your background?
Hi, Mark. I'm Zyed. I'm an engineer. I've been working for the last 20 years on retail data analytics and big data. And I've co-founded Untie Knots in 2016 to reinvent the way promotion is done in the retail industry.
Okay. And we always like to get a fun fact as well, something that you like to do. Do you have 20 kids? You like to scuba dive? Are you into extreme sports? What's a fun fact, a passion that you have outside of work?
I didn't make it up to 20 kids. I stopped at 2 for the time being. I'm maybe not that fun. I'm a marathon runner. I've run multiple marathons, especially here in Paris. And I think it's super helpful to work with an industry such as retail.
Okay, great. And what about you, Ken? I would love to know a bit more about you, your role at Untie Knots, and in your background before.
Yeah, so I've been in the retail and CPG world pretty much my entire career, starting with consulting, moving into food service and retail, grocery retail, as well as all the way through to now, I guess, software. I've been doing that for my career, mostly working most recently in the loyalty space.
Okay, great. Fun fact about you, Ken. Well, what's a passion you have outside of work?
Other than my family, I think I guess the fun fact is that I actually was a client of Untie Knots before joining the company to lead our entry into the North American market. So I guess that's kind of fun.
For those who may not be familiar with Untie Knots, which I'm sure there may be one or two, can you give us a brief overview of your company, what industries you do work with, what you guys do, how you do it? It'd be great to know that.
So Untie Knots is a company that was founded in Paris, France. We are a software business running out of a Google Cloud platform. And we actually do one thing, which is scaling one-to-one gamified promotions for fast-moving retail, in particular grocery, but not only. And what is special in what we do is that the sort of promotion we run in our platform is not only one-to-one, but profitable by design for both retailers and the partner brands they work with, while being totally customer-centric in the way we build them and target them.
Okay. And industries, what industries do you work most effectively with?
We work most effectively with grocers. We currently work with 12 grocers across the globe, and especially in Europe and North America. So grocers, I include in grocers, other fast-moving retailers. We, of course, work with CPG brands that are the suppliers of those retailers. So that's our focus today. And so everything we thought about in our solution was designed to fit with that industry, with all the particular aspects of running promotions and loyalty in that industry.
Okay, excellent. One of the things we also like to do is understand how people define different terms. We actually are going through a large pricing and KPI process right now with brands. definitions are very important, and customer loyalty is kind of the foundational definition. So we'd love to understand how you guys define customer loyalty, what it means to you, what it means to your clients.
So for us, customer loyalty is it is actually, people talk about loyalty, but I think what really matters is more loyalty rather than just loyalty. But I think that for us, customer loyalty is about capturing a bigger share of wallet of your customers in a durable manner, meaning it's not a one-off thing you want to capture for one day. So that's for us the most relevant interpretation of customer loyalty in the current context, how to make sure that people will actually prefer visit your store or your website rather than your competitors one more time every month.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we definitely are practitioners, or at least I am a practitioner of loyalty. So there's the transactional loyalty and the emotional loyalty. There's the loyalty of share of wallet, but also share of mind, share of engagement. So we do look at it from that broader world. And I've always talked about loyalty as a big L and a little L. The big L is creating customer loyalty and all that's engaged and all that's part of that, with probably, at least in retail, the store is your greatest driver of customer loyalty historically, that experience. And then obviously digital experiences are now becoming more and more critical to driving that customer loyalty. And then there's the big L, the little L, which is loyalty programs. And I don't mean to be pejorative about it, but it's the schemes that you put together in order to both collect data and to drive transactional or emotional loyalty, kind of more from a science perspective.
Okay. You mentioned some things you do with regard to personalization, customizing, making the reward opportunities, the content opportunities more customized. That's a big area of interest from our brands, even from the market in general, right? They want to make sure that they are speaking to and engaging their clients in a proactive manner. What are some things that you are seeing with regard to what is working with designing successful customer loyalty programs and strategies? Can you give an example of two of some things that you see that's working well?
Yeah, on the emotional side, if you don't mind. So, definitely one of the reasons that we have brought gamification into our platform is to create that engaging, enjoyable experience. And so for us, what does that mean? That means, one is not making it a one-way street, introducing choice into the relationship between the retailer and the brands and the consumer, to give them, the opportunity to make it their own. So we definitely have brought that into the equation of choice, so that they can customize the experience to some extent. And then the other piece is really about not necessarily putting, I guess, personalization on your sleeve, because in the end, it's about an experience that's relevant. Telling someone that this is a personalized experience is far less effective than just giving them an experience and having them notice that, oh, this actually makes sense for me. So we try to move away a little bit from screaming personalization and just more deliver on it.
Okay. And do you have maybe a brand example you think that's doing well? Your client, another client that's executing on what you're talking to?
Yeah, some European clients we definitely have in spades.
Yeah, actually, if we take Carrefour as a retailer, not only in France, but also in other geographies like Belgium or Spain or Italy, they are executing this kind of programs that using our technology, but they tell their own story with our technology, where they encourage people to be more loyal to them rather than asking them to be more loyal, by offering them continuity promotions where they can save up to 50 euros a month by buying their favorite brands more frequently at Carrefour rather than at another retailer. And the thing behind their platform is that the whole approach is totally one-to-one. So they don't fall into that trap of I'm going to do personalization, and then it ends up with one offer for family with kids, one offer for senior people, and one offer for another segment of customers, which are actually predetermined by the thinking of the marketeers rather than by what the data actually does. And so I would say that these guys are starting to do personalization like Netflix does. So nobody's going to say this movie is targeted to that population. They just put it in the catalog of Netflix and let the AI do the job of allocating it to the right people. And that's, for me, one of the success of that industry, of being able to personalize really one-to-one. And we are bringing that to the retail industry with growing success in Europe and in the US.
Okay. When you look at program efficacy, measurement of programs is very important. How do you advise your clients on defining and measuring the success of their customer loyalty efforts? Are there specific KPIs or benchmarks that you think they should keep in mind?
I think we bring that there are different KPIs we bring there. First of all, is the participation to a given component of the loyalty program. Are people really interested or not? And that's the first component, because anything that doesn't scale is not worth the effort nowadays, especially with retailers owning millions and millions of customers. The other component there is how people are engaged into the program, how active they are on whatever gamification or piece of offer within the loyalty program. Do they interact with it on a regular basis, or is it just a one-off because you've pushed so heavily your communication on that subject? And finally, and probably the biggest piece there is the incremental spend. So how did that influence their behavior? Did you actually get more share of wallet, more spend, and how profitable that is compared to the investment you've done? And that's for us the moment of truth, or it should be the moment of truth of any piece of loyalty program.
Yeah, and so I think that's what's unique. That's why our solution is, I would consider a bit of the missing piece in loyalty program design, is that there's a lot of elements to a loyalty program that reward customers for past behavior. And what we are trying to offer is the element of the program that is, I definitely want to reward you as the customer, but I want to reward you for incremental behavior. Because I have many ways to reward you for past behavior. So our platform is focused on being able to be designed in such a way that if desired, the client can choose to only reward customers for incremental behavior. And so it's a piece of an overall loyalty program and an overall rewards program. It's, we don't pretend to be everything for that is loyalty, but we're a piece that's missing and unique in that, as Zyed said, by design, our promotions, our offers require incrementality for the customer to earn the reward, which is, again, it's a piece of a program. It's not the entire program.
Okay. There are a number of new technologies in market, a number of new trends around customer loyalty, personalization, not necessarily new, but personalization, gamification, emotional loyalty. What do you think brands should be focused on? Is there a trend, a technology, an idea that they should be focused?
Yeah, you mind if I take a first one? Sure. So again, this is born out of my experience within retailers, and I think your experience as a consultant is, we often see loyalty as being the purview of the loyalty marketing team of marketing. And really, one of the things that our solution and our philosophy is trying to get at is there are actually a couple of different organizations, or many organizations, that are responsible for creating loyalty within the organization. And one of the relationships that has been the most challenged in that is the relationship between merchandising and marketing. You have the product-centric world supposedly within merchandising. You have the customer-centric world supposedly within marketing. And those two groups really need to work together to really effectively drive customer loyalty, the big L. And the way programs have been designed and the way the two have been engaged hasn't really led to a productive relationship, or definitely not to scale. And it's not just because of the relationship, it's the technology, it's the way the programs are designed. There's a lot of reasons why that relationship has not led to a scalable, personalized experience and personalized promotions. And that's really what was kind of the premise of the solution, was to build something that works for both the marketer and the merchandiser and the supplier, the retailer and the consumer. It's really to create that win-win-win, which I know is somewhat tired language, but it really is to accomplish that, because the barrier to success and scale in the past has really been that the machine hasn't worked for this. You know, the last machine that those two had worked together on probably was the paper circular, where that was a nice amalgamation of merchandising and marketing to something that really worked 50 plus years ago. We're trying to build the new version of that that works for both of those constituents, as well as the supplier community, and most importantly for the consumer.
Okay, great. When you look at how you help clients, you mentioned that you are kind of a piece of the loyalty, the bigger picture customer loyalty solution. You know, what piece of advice, is there a piece of advice that you give to clients or you share with brands that are looking to improve their customer loyalty, customer experience processes?
The main piece of advice I would think of, and can let you continue there, is rather than people tend to want customers to do something with them. I want customers to try my online ordering. I want them to buy my private label. I want them to buy this new stuff, or have that pattern of shopping with me. And actually, our take on loyalty is completely the other way around. So consumers share their spend more and more across several retailers. And what you don't want is that they spend more with your competitors rather than with you. So rather than asking them exactly what you intend them to do because you think it's the right thing, just encourage them to do more of what they like with you. It's a way for the consumers to be nudged into choosing you rather than your competitors. Because if you try to force them, if you put a constraint just to fit with a mental view of how the market is or should be, you just push them away. I think a lot of good intentions have turned into the exact opposite results, just because nowadays consumers won't do what they want. And the best way to attract them and keep them loyal is to encourage them to do more of what they like and find the mechanic to make that profitable for you and for your partners. And automatically it will flow positively for your business.
Okay, great. And last question we have, somewhat self-serving, but what can Loyalty360 do as a trade association for the industry to help others who are focused on their customer loyalty and customer experience journeys?
Yeah, I think one of the great things you're doing is bringing best practices from one industry to another. I know when I was in consulting, that was where a lot of the benefits were, is that you took something that appeared to be not related from a different industry and applied it to a new industry, and it was gold. So I think that's one of the great things that you do, is you get that conversation started. You know, again, while we're focused heavily on grocery and CPG, you know, we're not exclusively that. Just as, you know, we're going to learn from other vendors of yours and from other clients outside of that industry to learn, okay, what's working there. So to me, that's one of the great benefits is your cross-industry view to the world.
I think also within the retail industry in particular, while I believe Loyalty360 helps a lot FMCG brands and retailers talk outside the context of day-to-day business, I think it would be great also to facilitate a common loyalty with a big L culture between merchants and marketeers. I think that that's a very important missing piece in the retail organization. And if we want this industry to move forward, the culture of loyalty should come out of the marketing teams and spread across the other divisions. I believe that as long as loyalty will be the topic of loyalty teams, it's going to continue to be a bit difficult.
And I'll choose to just slightly modify that says, as well as the language and objectives of the parts of the organization that are outside of marketing need to be embraced and understood by marketing as well.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a marketer. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting perspective. Those who define customer loyalty more holistically, there's definitely a dichotomy between those who don't, right? People who are programmatically focused have different goals, different objectives. The senior level commitment is not necessarily there, but those who have it integrated, how they talk about it, how they share their external stakeholders, internally, externally, there's a big difference. And we would love to continue to advocate for kind of that bigger picture customer loyalty that you espoused earlier. And hopefully that continues to be the trend, because there definitely is a difference between brands who focus, on that big L or that little L, the program, or the bigger picture customer loyalty focus.
Yeah, there's a lot to work on.
Absolutely. Well, Zyed and Ken, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. It was great hearing your perspective on customer loyalty. And also it was great to hear about some of the things that Untie Knots is working on within the industry. We look forward to learning more from you and your team throughout the year.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for watching today. Make sure you join back soon for another edition of our Loyalty Live.